Hey Warpugs, we're back at it with Mr. Illustrated when day breaks. This time it is the forest. And I got a pretty good idea of what forest he's talking about here. I don't want to call it that too many other times or else I'm going to wind up having an issue. We're one away from being completely caught up with the series. How weird is that? After this series, I'm going to, of course, start on another series. There are so many that you guys want me to check out, so don't be offended if I pick the wrong one, guys. There's going to be one that I'm going to check out. It's about D&D, Florida people, and I think that's all I really need to say about it. Mr. Illustrated has done a fantastic job of putting this stuff together, and I keep on saying this over and over again. I have loved this since the first time I saw it. I didn't even know what I was looking at because I didn't know anything about SCP. So it was kind of a strange thing to see. Okay, everybody's paying attention to you, sir. It was kind of a strange thing to see when I first started watching it. Of course, I watched it all out of order. I watched The Gate Guardian right after the first video. But now we are at the forest. So, go down below. Check out Mr. Illustrated's links. He's doing other things other than the 40K. I mean, other than SCP right now. Just when I'm starting to break into SCP. By the way, next SCP lore video script is written. Latara Sarin, 5-ish minute lore, technically 35-ish, is currently on Patreon. So go by and check that out. I've already reached out to a couple of people, including Harley Hammer, to do some voice lines. But until then, let's get into the forest. Here we go. Mr. Illustrated with the forest. I'm an idiot. Here we go.
Good day everyone and welcome back. What does the When Day Breaks event do to the plant life of the world? Well, I had a chat with the original When Day Breaks author Shaggy a while back about...
This is gonna be... This is gonna be awesome. I have this question myself.
Just this question, and this story I made is based on what he said. A thank you to all the patrons and members that keep this channel going, a quick word from today's sponsor, and we'll get started.
Okay.
Look at this, it's $9.99!
Look at my boy!
Is now a soft, cuddly plushie.
Yes.
The lads at Fallen Foundry have been working very hard, and we now have our own $9.99 plushie. If you would like your own tickle monster, then just follow the link.
Yes, I recommend this to you. If you're a person that every so often gets in a bad mood, get yourself the boy. Get yourself the lad. He is squishy. He is plushy. And he's actually really, really good. It comes right from the SCP store. There we go. Guys, much recommended. And much thank the Fanatic for this. Much thanks to Fanatic for this guy. He sits right up here on my desk. Put him right... Okay, you can sit right there. Fine. You can sit right there for this one, okay, buddy?
Link below to the SCP shop. You'll be supporting the little guys and help to grow the SCP shop that we've all been working on. So yeah, hit up the shop using my link and get your own squidgy 99.
Oh, this is cool. So I can actually... 1 second. I can actually show this thing off because it is most definitely from the SCP store. Here it is right here. You guys can see the tag. I'm not sure if you can see the tag. Can you see the tag? Yes. Okay, so I've had this thing for a little bit now, and I can tell you that it is every bit as adorable as it's shown on the screen. Like, very good quality. I love it. I've loved it since I got it. Yeah. It's a perfect little thing. If you like SCP-001 like I do, I highly recommend this to you. Link is going to be in the description below. Go support the SCP store and Mr. Illustrated. So let's get back into it. I just had to say because he's my boy.
99 plushie now.
This was a bad idea. Samantha looked out through the crack in the shop window at the edge of the forest in front of her. The trees hung like melted wax sculptures, with strings of bark and foliage between them like jungle vines. Everyone in her small community knew that the woods were to be avoided. It was a death trap in there. Yes, plants are not dangerous. Yes, the trees would not hunt you down and drag you into the sunlight. However, wading through the sludge of the ecosystem was like trying to escape quicksand.
Joy.
But it was the only option left to her to get back to her group hiding in the shopping centre to the west. She had gone out to gather supplies from the convenience store she now found herself in, and her bag had accidentally bumped a car on the way.
That's a bad sign.
Stupid. The alarm had drawn the flesh in from miles around. They were everywhere, and they knew someone was here. Alarms don't just trigger themselves.
No, they don't. 1 second, guys. Alright, here we go.
She ducked back into cover as a human fox creature slithered by her, whispering its praises to the sun as it vanished around a corner. Fuck it, she had to act. Sam reached into her bag and pulled out a firecracker. These things were worth their weight in gold for providing a distraction. She would only have one chance. She winced and froze as the skylight opened with a screech. She listened for the chorus of babble of the squelch of flesh, but there was nothing. Thank God. Sam set the firecracker in her slingshot, lit it, and fired it out of the open window. She stepped backwards and crouched next to the open door. 3, 2, 1. The distant pops and cracks sent the flesh into a frenzy. They all turned and rushed in the direction of the noise. This was her one chance. She made sure the coast was clear and bolted towards the forest.
No.
Samantha cursed herself as she pushed through the swamp of plant goo. It felt like she was trudging through a swamp.
Because it is
The
one.
grass, the bushes, the leaves, everything had melted into a mulch of green and brown slurry 2 feet deep on the floor.
Ugh.
It bubbled slightly as the plants suffocated below began to decompose. The trees still stood tall, but their canopies drooped and the bark dripped down the trunks. Vines of melted twigs and leaves strung down from the top, creating a spiderweb complex of tripwires all around the base of the trees and across the denser parts of the forest. She kept to the open areas, but it was still hard going. Ironically, the sun was her lifeline. She was completely lost, but she knew the sun set behind them all, so she would eventually hit it one way or another if she followed the very thing killing the world.
Huh.
She jumped as she stood on something solid, probably a rotten branch or a rock maybe. Get a grip, she told herself. She stopped to thread a line from her bag under her many layers and drink some water. The heat and moisture lingered in the air, which made the strenuous ordeal of navigating this tar pit all the more tiring. She sighed and carried on. She needed to find her way out of here before nightfall. The log she had stood on previously slowly raised itself out of the sludge. A mass of moss and leaves parted to reveal a single eye watching Samantha as she limped forwards.
Oh my God. Well, you're gone.
This was a very bad idea. Samantha lay down in the sludge with just her eyes and nose peeking above the surface. She dared not move. The faint slopping sound grew closer. She had stopped to remove some sludge from her jacket when she both saw it and heard it. This great lumbering thing of melted plants and a human heading her way. Probably a doomed hiker from the start of this shit show.
Okay.
She held her breath as it made its way past her. It was even worse up close. Random streaks of flesh clung to the sticks and blended with the melted leaves to create something from the vision of a bad acid trip. Everything suddenly grew dark. She chanced a glance to see dark clouds obscuring the sun. Fuck. She hated storms. She prayed that the creature would move, but it just stood there looking around. Did it know she was nearby? Were the plants actually out to get them after all? A crack thundered above them, followed by a bolt of light. She whimpered. The creature moved away as the rain began to fall. Samantha thought she was being clever, that maybe following the creature would lead her out of the woods as it tried to find more like it in a town or something.
Huh.
In fact, more tiny flesh creatures were following it to join this creature. Thousands of tiny little flesh insects had begun crawling out, and all of them had seen Sam.
Lovely.
She made her best attempt at a run while the rain and wind lashed at her face. The sun was completely gone now, and she was in a total panic. She was lost, alone, and had no idea what to do or where to go. The rain was mixing with the sludge to create an even more sticky and noisy solution.
Lovely.
Another bolt lit up the woods while a thunderclap made her knees quiver. She turned to see the creature still following her, also being hindered by the soup as it walked on its bulky legs. The trees were moving. Sam looked in horror as she saw the tree trunks wrapped in flesh moving through the muck, fresh stringy vines entwined with flesh shooting between them all. She ran to the left and dropped into a river. The smell of stagnant water and rotting plants made her heave. She furiously began trying to swim through it, but it was like pushing against concrete. Another bolt and clap shook her. Memories returned of when she fell overboard in the storm as a child. Something grabbed her by the ankle. Samantha was pulled from the muck by the creature as it retracted its vine of meat. She choked as she was dragged through the soup by this thing, the foul waters filling her airways. It lifted her into the air. Vines on the trees wrapped around her limbs and held her suspended between the trunks. It removed her mask as she screamed in the rain. The trees swayed in the storm, and the creature waited patiently below for the sun to return.
Oh my god.
Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you did. Big thanks to Dr. Sumerian for proofreading this for me. Please go to his channel and show the man some love. Big thanks to Shaggy as well for providing the inspiration for this tale. And as always, a massive thanks to all the patrons and members for keeping this channel going. Please consider joining them. And thank you to Rick Traxon, Wings of a Meme, Number of the East, Splendid the...
Oh my god. I have nothing. So great. Now the plants. I had been wondering what was going to happen with the plants. Because it hasn't been addressed yet. And now that it has, I'm wishing it hadn't. Guys, leave it to Mr. Illustrated to turn something like this incredible once more. Guys, it's so odd to me. I'm so close to being caught up with this series. And for me, whenever I come up to the end of a series, I'm just sitting there always hoping that it continues. Because unless it comes to a straight out conclusion, because I want to know more. I always want to know more. Until next time, guys, check out Mr. Illustrated. Go get yourself the good boy. And I am out. I will catch you guys next time. Save the trees!